right. You guys got to hear from the quarterbacks and linebackers the other day this week. Tony, I guess we'll start with you.
Yeah, it's always interesting to listen to CJ Stroud, who has come a long way, and his understanding of the offense. And I came away from listening to him just thinking like he's a complete football guy. Like he loves talking about it. He loves talking about it with coaches. He loves talking about it with other players, and he's very, very serious about it. And is conveys that, and then also conveys that to his teammates on the practice field, and they see that leadership. And one of the interesting aspects was he's got a lot of NIL money, but he said that because he's the baby of 5 kids, like he has been kept humble by his older siblings. And if any of the younger the babies of the family are out there, they understand exactly what that means. Your brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters, have a great way of keeping you humble and grounded. And there were times where Steve and Kevin, you guys you talk to Troy Smith back in the day, and there's this aura of I'm Troy Smith. Like I don't think you really get that from CJ Stroud, who is he's not the cocky guy yet, and now he's a confident guy, but he's also still talking. He talks about how he's constantly progressing and learning. Like he knows he's not a finished product. I don't think he thinks he'll ever be a finished product, and that's when you know you've got something good on your hands.
Yeah, I was actually at interviews one day when Troy Smith turned to John Spencer, who'd been covering the team for about 20 years already at that point, and said, "Are you new?" Something like that. And, just he always had kind of a chip on his shoulder. You don't sense that with CJ Stroud. I think he will play the underdog card at times. I've heard him say, nobody expected us to do this or whatever. I have news for him. They're either number 1 or number 2 in every poll going into 2022, and he'll be either number 1 or number 2 on every Heisman list, along with the incumbent Heisman winner, Young. So, yes, everyone's expecting you to be there in the championship game at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles next January, CJ. So no underdog chip for you this year in 2022. So I don't know what you're going to, that's the only time where he kind of cops just a little bit of an attitude. Otherwise, he's pretty humble about the way he approaches things. He was very, he used to be kind of reserved almost in his comments when he would talk to the media. He got on a downhill roll for about 20 minutes yesterday, and they just let him riff, which was good. I think that was great to see a lot of his personality. And at about the 8-minute mark, he was asked about Devin Brown. I know this because I referenced it for a note that we put on our site, what he thought about Devin Brown. He said he's been tremendously impressed with the true freshman, what he's seen out of him after 3 weeks of practices on the field, basically like 10 practice sessions. He's been very impressed with him, and even glossed him, quote, as a future Buckeye great. Those were his words that he sees for Devin Brown. Says he has above average ability to run the ball as well, and can really spin it. So again, we only saw some of that on Saturday. He had a few reps here and there, and he did really well. But for CJ to say that about one of his understudies, and that wasn't to take anything away from Kyle McCord either. Kyle McCord was really good too. I have not spent the time to go back and watch and listen to everything that he had to say, but Brown, impressive. All 3 of those guys, impressive. I think you've got, if you ask me today, I would say you've got 3 of the top 10 or 12 quarterbacks in the Big Ten at Ohio State this year. That's my feeling going into the year.
Who is CJ Stroud to judge quarterback mobility? I mean, let me get past that. But I think one of the big things that's going to help too is CJ Stroud, a year older and a year more confident in terms of being that on-field leader. And we talk every year once we get into spring and summer, as we don't have as much X's and O's to go through, we love to go into who will be the leaders on this team, and it always has to be your quarterback. Your quarterback's got to be that guy, and they're the quarterbacks who lead by example, and then they're the quarterbacks who lead by, with their words. And I think CJ Stroud really has a position to be all of that. And I think that that's really going to be part of where Ohio State's success is going to, where the genesis of that's going to be from. Sure, you have talented players and everything there, but sometimes, I think that when things got tough last year, Oregon, Michigan, maybe they didn't have as much of that leadership there. And I think that this is going to be a very good year in terms of leadership, and CJ Stroud is going to be instrumental.